The opening page to your novel has to do a number of things to keep your readers going. It has to hook them in, it's got to keep them gripped in the story, it's got to ground them where they are, what the location is, who the protagonist is, set some conflicts, add tension, and it's got to have brilliant writing, all of it in the opening page, the opening lines, the opening paragraphs, where your readers may decide to go for a swim at Belongil Beach down in Byron. So this is my book, Woman Beneath the Ice. Grab a copy from Amazon. But then what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the opening line, opening couple of paragraphs. We'll look at it. I'm going to look at some aspects of what I've felt is necessary to go into your opening stages of your next bestseller. Let's rip into it. So I'll read the opening 3 paragraphs and we'll just look at some aspects of what I've done to try and bring readers into the tale. And now feel free to drop a line below and let me know if you think the story is rubbish or it's any good, or any other aspects you've seen in these opening paragraphs that you can apply to your own writing and your own craft. So here we go, opening line. The chapter is called A Robbery. The spaceship's engineer lay unconscious at my feet, a state I had put him in. Okay, so some aspects here. The first thing I say is the spaceship. So we know we're on a spaceship. I've had it just said the engineer could be down by the beach, or probably not, that's not where you do an engineer work, but it could be in a factory, anywhere. But by grounding us in a detail, it lets us know where the story is set. The fact there's a spaceship, you also know it's going to be some kind of sci-fi fantasy tale, likely set in the future. But also notice I wrote that the engineer was unconscious at my feet. So it starts off with predicament. There's something going on here. There's an engineer and he's unconscious. So we're thinking, well, why is he unconscious for? Adding to that, I say next, a state I had put him in. So it's adding conflict here. So that's how we start the opening tale, the opening line. You want to have where they are, the protagonist, some kind of stakes, conflict. You want to draw people in. People here now are hooked. These are various hooks. And the hook is, why is he unconscious? Why did the protagonist need to put him in that state? Now the fact is, we still don't know if it's a male or female protagonist, but we'll soon find out as we read in the next paragraph. We were in the engine room of the mighty Welkin, at the rear of the space traveling craft. Again, let you know where they are. The engine room of the mighty Welkin, in the back of the spacecraft. So straight away from the couple of lines here, you know where they are. Before us were the source rods, spares in case the ship required more fuel. They might have been orange glue sticks held by a child, but instead they were one of the most expensive elements in the known universe. A power source running this ship all the way from Earth to Cerulean. Automatically now we get further aspects of what's going on in the tale. She's going from Earth to Cerulean on a spaceship, and before her source rods which are powering this spaceship. This is only a couple of lines and we know so much about the tale and what's going on. Let's read again. The price that one rod could be illegally sold for would easily start a new life. Perfect for a broke, single young girl. Well, technically a broke engaged girl, but I'd only fooled Dante into believing he had my heart so I could escape my horrible life. I'd leave that gangster behind on Cerulean. So just 2 paragraphs here. And now we've found out what her plan is already in the opening couple of paragraphs. She wants to steal a rod, sell it, start a new life. We know it's a girl because we say broke, single young girl, but then we say she's engaged to Dante. But notice he's just not an ordinary man she fooled. He's a gangster. So there's danger. So there's more things going on to this book. So in the opening paragraphs we've got tension, stakes, danger. We know her plan. She wants to steal this source rod and escape her life away from the gangster and live a new life on the planet of Cerulean. And then next paragraph, the 3rd paragraph in, the story really starts to heat up with the action. I took a tense breath, then exhaled onto the foggy laser-proof glass that protected the rods, preparing for my heist. steal the source rod. A simple procedure for cutting through the glass, grabbing the source rod and scramming unseen. An important factor, given the penalty for my crime would be death. And again, we're raising the stakes. If she doesn't get this source rod, or she gets caught, she's going to die. She's going to get the penalty of death. That could be a very good hint why she knocked out the engineer. Now, as a bonus, I'll give you another paragraph. At least the sleeping engineer wouldn't be telling any stories. The tiny nerve neutralizer disc I had shot him with, turned the page one-handed, remained stuck upon his neck and glowing red. So here we found out how she knocked him out with a nerve neutralizing disc. Okay, let's read on. The boyish man was dressed in a white button shirt with the sleeves rolled up to his biceps, trying to show off his pathetic twig arms. It appears he was attempting to grow a beard, but had only managed a grassy, darkish blonde stubble. His brown slacks were light years out of fashion. One of his bootlaces was left undone. Talk about untidy. Stop stalling, Evita, I whispered. Okay, so even in that little description of the engineer, you got to use descriptions that suit the tale. So saying his slacks were light years out of fashion, it suits the tale that's currently in space, although it gets a bit fantastical. So if you're in a western, you wouldn't say light years out of fashion, you know what I mean? So these are some aspects of what you do for an opening of your story. There's many aspects. There's some. Drop a line bottom, let you know what you think of me opening paragraphs, and if you've got any tips, I'll be happy to listen to any tips. So that's Woman Beneath the Ice. Just go to Amazon, type Clint Lowe, and up it'll pop. Got a few free stories on there as well. If you just type in my name on Amazon, you can check them out. But in the meantime, right now, I think I'll jump in the waves and go out for a swim. Come on!